Hi, I'm Chrissy,
And I'm Jess.
and this is
Financial progress.
What? Welcome, everyone, to Financial Progress Podcast, where we tackle all things money related to help you achieve financial success.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Today, we're diving deep into the importance of having an emergency fund and how to build one that can weather life's unexpected storms.
That's right. An emergency fund is like your financial safety net, providing peace of mind and protection against unforeseen expenses. So let's get started.
Let's go.
So, Jess, why is having an emergency fund so crucial for financial stability?
Oh, yeah. It's so important. Life is unpredictable and emergencies can happen at any time, whether it's a sudden medical expense, car repairs, or unexpected job loss. An emergency fund ensures you're prepared to handle these situations without derailing your financial goals.
Absolutely. It's all about being proactive and having a financial cushion to fall back on when life throws you a curveball, because they will happen.
A lot of people recommend the 3 to 6 month emergency fund after your debt is paid off. We are recommending a 1 month emergency fund so that you can get started paying off your debt, but at least having some type of safety net first, and then you can start your debt payoff. Even having that 1 month emergency fund can provide that significant level of protection and that peace of mind during any unexpected situations. It's great starting point for building that financial progress.
Right. So, building an emergency fund sounds like a no brainer, right? So, how do we actually go about doing it?
Sure, yeah. So obviously, it starts with setting a specific savings goal. So I know, like, when I first started the financial journey, we were like, let's start with a $1,000 starter savings. And we started that way. But now we're recommending like that 1 month emergency fund. So you want to determine how much you need to cover your essential expenses. So anything that you feel like, if you had lost your job for, let's just say, a month, what are those expenses you need to pay or like to live off of to survive for that 1 month? And that would be your initial target.
Yes. And when you're deciding how much you want to save, it can be different for every person. If you're used to living off of a single income, it's probably better for you to save up, to 6 months. But if you have like a dual income, maybe saving 3 months is okay for you. So kind of determine that. But I feel like the $1,000 starter emergency fund, which is something that we both started off of, was helpful at the time before we started tackling debt. But my thoughts kind of changed on that after COVID hit. And just speaking for myself, I didn't feel like the 1,000 was enough at that time. So I feel like having at least 1 month savings is a good emergency fund for unexpected expenses.
I think at the time when we first started, it was hard in general, like just to save some money. So even like getting to a few $100s was tough. And I remember, I think I talked this in a previous episode. I remember when we started doing our starter emergency fund that it took 2 months just to get to 700. And the only reason we got to 700 that quickly at that time, because we were a low income family, it was because I was selling things in the house. Um, but with that being said, thank God I had that $700 because something was wrong with the car and it cost $400 and I was able to get to that 700. Just take that 400 and pay for the car, and all I had to do was like rebuild my starter emergency fund. With everything going on, I agree with you that 1 month is the best thing because especially if you own a home, there's so many things that happens in your home that can fall apart that's going to be costly and cost more than $1,000.
Yes, definitely. I think, honestly, if you are thinking about buying a home, starting with that 1 month at least is helpful,
Mm-hmm.
and take into consideration what your new payment is going to be for your mortgage, because that's an essential expense that you need to pay. If you are planning on going out on your own, buying a house for the first time, or even moving out for the first time, having 1 month emergency fund is very important to make sure that you're not going into debt for any of those unexpected expenses.
Yeah. Because then if you don't have that start emergency funds, then you're going to end up going back to using your credit card, and you definitely don't want to do that at all. Now, I would say that if you are struggling and it is very difficult, maybe just start small and then just work your way up just to build it.
Yes. Sometimes it's looking at your expenses and just seeing what you can cut back on. We had a recent emergency situation where we had to dip into our emergency fund. So now we are actively trying to rebuild it back up. So I'm going through my budget with a fine tooth comb and looking to see anything I could cut back on. For instance, I signed up for this unlimited car wash and I'm like, okay, that's $42 that I can save. I'm going to cut that out because I don't need unlimited car washes, let's say.
Yeah.
But I do need a car wash every so often. But how can I cut back on some of my expenses? Well, I don't need that. So I can cut back on that. And just really going through your budgets to see what can I cut back on and how I can rebuild this emergency fund or build this emergency fund. Your emergency fund is there for a reason. It's there for security. And when you need to dip into it, you can do that and feel secure in knowing that the money is available and you don't have to go into debt for those emergency situations. But also knowing that you have to rebuild that back up if you do need to tap into it for whatever reason. That's where we're at, is cutting back on expenses to rebuild our emergency fund. So backing up a little bit, when you figure out what your target savings goal is, and you have that goal in mind, it's time to start saving. So you can consider automating your savings by setting up regular transfers from your checking account to your emergency fund. And it's a simple yet effective way to make saving a priority.
I know there are some people, I don't do it personally, but I know there are some people who actually from work, they kind of like tell their, I guess, HR to do like a separate automatic transfer, and then it can go to a separate savings. So I know there's people who do that. I just do it myself. That's also another option if that's something you feel like you can't control taking it out of your own bank account, then I would suggest like doing that with HR and letting them do it for you. Once you've built your emergency fund, how do you ensure it stays intact and ready for when you need it?
That's a good question. So it's essential to keep your emergency fund separate from your everyday spending accounts to avoid the temptation to dip into it for non-emergencies.
Yes, absolutely. And don't forget to regularly review and replenish your emergency fund as needed. Kind of like what Chrissy mentioned, where you kind of like reevaluated your budget, see what you can cut out. That was kind of like her review, just to build back up her emergency. So life circumstances can change. And so it's important to make sure you're adjusting your savings goal and your contributions accordingly.
So I know I talked about it a little bit, but what should someone do if they need to tap into their emergency fund?
So the key to using your emergency fund is genuinely for emergencies only, nothing else, just emergencies. It's there to cover your monthly expenses like your housing, utilities, food, or medical bills during a time of crisis.
Wait, so you mean I can't go on vacation or a shopping spree with my emergency fund?
Nope, not your emergency. You're gonna have to do that completely separate.
Darn it. I could go on a really nice vacation with my emergency fund.
No,
No,
create a vacation fund.
definitely. Yes. So your emergency fund is your financial lifeline when you need it the most, but not for shopping sprees or vacations.
And we know we love vacationing,
Yes.
but make sure if you feel like you need another fund for savings, just actually take money out for that. Include it in your budget, making sure you have money for emergency, money for savings. I know there's like a pay yourself first. If you feel like you need to take out money for like personal savings or like vacation savings and you want to pay yourself first, that's okay. Just put a little bit of money in there. It doesn't have to be a lot, just a little bit to get that savings going, even for both of them, emergency fund and vacation. But that's another topic, right?
Yes,
So
yes. And we did go into little detail about sinking funds.
sinking
That's
funds.
important to, if you want to go on vacation, to create a sinking fund for that amount that you plan to spend for that vacation. Some people put that in a separate account, or if you want to put it in the same account, that's fine, but have like this amount classified for emergency fund, this amount classified for vacation or whatever it is you're saving for.
Yeah. So make sure your priority is your starter emergency fund
Yes.
before anything else. As long as you have extra money left over, then you can put towards some fun stuff. So I think we're pretty much done here. That wraps up our discussion of emergency funds. Remember, having at least 1 month emergency fund before paying off your debt is a very crucial step towards financial stability and a peace of mind.
Absolutely. Whether you're just starting to build your emergency fund or you're looking to beef up your existing one, remember that every dollar you save brings you one step closer to financial progress and security.
Yes. So thanks for joining us today. Until next time, stay financial savvy and be prepared for whatever life throws at your way.
Take care, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye.